Please click on the thumbs up button and the subscribe button if you enjoyed my vlog. Bye for now.
Hi everybody, this is John from Old John's Vlogs, and I'd like to talk to you today about the Wonky Donkey Sanctuary. Lovely name. And I'll give you all the details how to get there at the end of the video. My family and I went there in the summer holidays, and we went around the site, which was conducted by a talk, and I recommend you go for the talk. It's fairly cheap actually, and the parking's free. Parking's free, and the only stipulation with the parking is that you have to park with the front of your car facing the fencing. I forgot to ask why, but I think it must be something to do with the safety of the donkeys if they get out, or children running about. It's slow anyway, you've got to drive very slow, it tells you that. There was two talks that day, and again you better get the information off their website. One was in about 11 o'clock at the morning, and I think the other one was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We were early because we had quite a way to come. We didn't know exactly how long it would take us because of the traffic, and we went through Pontefract to get to the site. But I'll tell you more about how to get there later. What I wanted to say was that because we were early, we were able to have a look round the site and at the cafeteria, which we went into after we'd been on the guided tour. When the tour started, my first impression was that the lady who was conducting the tour was passionate about the site, the sanctuary, and so were the volunteers. In fact, we were able to talk to some of the volunteers. Donkeys, the three things about donkeys are that they don't like getting wet, they are 11 to about 14 months pregnant, and they live to about 50 years of age. But all that will be explained to you, and particularly why donkeys don't like getting wet. It's not always possible to know if the donkey is pregnant. I don't know why that is actually, but you can find out by asking Kai to come along and check the donkeys out. It costs about £300 a time, so they have to learn to find out how to recognise if donkeys are pregnant, and actually it's not as easy as you might think. Sometimes they don't show while they're about 11 to 14 months pregnant, and it's a very long time. Donkeys have to be trained because you've got to get them to come to you. They can't just run away every time. The staff inspect the donkeys, they look after their well-being, and I have to say that I was very impressed how well the donkeys were looked after. But they had a little trick, and the trick was that they threw biscuits on the ground for the donkeys to come and eat, and once they got close up to the donkeys they could inspect them. But I asked the question, why throw the biscuits on the ground, why not give the donkeys the biscuits? And the lady promptly showed me how big the teeth of the donkeys were. When you're being shown round the sanctuary, some of the information that will be given to you is that the donkeys, some of the donkeys have been brought from other areas, and some of the donkeys had had a hard time of it all, and trust has to be built up again between human beings and the donkeys themselves. But you get to know more about that on the actual talk. But there are 17 donkeys at the sanctuary that's actually being born there, and the lady who was taking us round, I think she was involved with one of the births. Don't quote me on that one, she may have been involved with several of the births, but I hope I'm whetting your appetite, so to speak, to go and have a look for yourself. Of the 33 donkeys on site, some of them were not trusting people, most of them were, but they're not all the same, and one donkey is so kind that they take it to hospitals and old people's homes, and it aids recovery, I believe, with the hospital people, and calms people down as well. So that's got to be a good thing. And I must say that when I went to the site, I'm always a little bit nervous, actually, a nervous type of person, and I was a bit anxious as to what I was going to see when I got there. But within no time at all, I was as calm as anybody else there. The donkeys have that effect on people. While I was on site, I filmed for about half an hour maybe, but there were children walking around, and so therefore unless I got permission to film the children, and I don't usually film children, unless I got their permission, then I couldn't use the film. So out of all the half-hour clips, there may just be just a few short stills to look at, and I hope you don't. You're not offended by that. But it would have taken me a long time to go around all the parents of the children and ask if they minded if I filmed. But that wasn't the object. The object was to learn more about donkeys, and I hope I'm helping you to do that. One of the donkeys, who doesn't normally let males touch it, became very friendly towards my son. Don't know why that is, but even the lady who runs the talk for the sanctuary seemed to be amazed by that, really. But when I think about it, my son has got a very calming effect on people and calming effect on animals too, although our own dog, Ben we call it, is long gone now, but we still haven't got over his wonderful personality, and I'm afraid we're a bit long in the tooth now to have another pet that we would have to take it out 2 or 3 times a day, which we would do to keep the dog happy and fit, and we'd have to do it in all weathers, and we are conscientious people, so it's better that we see other people's pets rather than have one ourselves. And I'm not trying to use that as a get out, I'm just trying to be sensible towards the animals that we might be looking after. because we couldn't give them our full attention. Well, sometimes although the lady told us this, was taking us around the site, sometimes donkeys are like naughty children, and if you put your coat, for example, on the fencing, which you wouldn't after you've been told not to, then the donkeys might take a fancy to that coat and pass it from one to the other, or pull it apart, or whatever. So be aware that you should never leave anything lying around for the donkeys to get hold of. And the other thing is, if there was a football in one of the fields, they try to play their own game of what we might call football, and I suppose that would be very comical to watch. But they are comical and very nice, and you can soon pick out the personality of that particular donkey. Well, the donkey sanctuary was miles away from anywhere habitation really, and we found out why later, because they can act up, and they have been known at about 4 o'clock in the morning all to be making very loud noises, and of course if it was on the fringes of the housing estate, that wouldn't go down. Oh, excuse me, that wouldn't go down too well at all. Donkeys can also get scolded, and you will find out what that it scolds them, and you will also find out what happens if donkeys are stood in water. Ideally they should be standing in sand. They like that. At the end of the talk we were told what we already know in a way, that donkeys have been helping human beings for centuries as pack horses and all sorts of things like that, and in the main they have been closer to us probably than we have been to them, but that's not to suppose that all owners of donkeys are bad people or misusing donkeys. I would suspect that most of them are very kind to their animals. I've already mentioned that donkeys give off this aura of calmness, and one of the lady volunteers said to me that if she goes to the site to do her volunteer work, which could be anything from cleaning out the stables or whatever it is that needs doing that day, whenever she's finished and talked to the animals or patted the animals or sometimes even hugged the animals, she always goes home relaxed and happy, and I think that's a good testament to everybody that worked there seemed to be of that opinion. Before going to the cafeteria after the talk was over, we went back to the shop where you first go actually when you're going on site, and we bought a few little badges and things, you know, to commemorate that we've been there on site, and my son gave a small donation as well. You're not compelled to do any of those things, but I suppose it's nice to think that you've helped a donkey live a bit longer on in such wonderful surroundings and wonderful conditions. Well, there are 2 or 3 ways to go to the sanctuary, and it depends what direction you're taking, but we went through Pontefract. Yeah, we did Pontefract, that's right. But there is a website which I'll give to you now, and it's worldwideweb.wonky-donkey.co.uk, UK. And you can stop the film and can't even have a look. And there's also an address, and it is the Wonky Donkey Sanctuary. I love saying that, it's wonderful. Little Oaks Farm, Cubcroft Lane, Nottingley, WF11OAZ. Well, I hope that's been of interest to you, and I'm so sorry it's taken such a long time for me to film it, but we have had some domestic problems. My wife has broken her foot, bone in her foot, and I've been chief bottle washer, I want to tell you, and my wife would say I'm useless, but I'm doing my best. But I'm glad to tell you she's on the mend now. And my son was on holiday over the summer holidays. He's back at work now, and so he's not got much input as to what I'm doing at the moment. But he's got some stuff on about Wonky Donkey Sanctuary, and I thought I should also follow it up too. So if you found it interesting, please give it a like, and just click on the subscribe button if you want to see more videos of this kind. So all the very best to you all. Bye.